Good morning, children. Let's begin with a new lesson here, that is a day in the country. Now, before that, I suppose all of you have done your second unit test well. Okay, so we are going to here begin with the next part. Okay, that is chapter 13, a day in the country, part 1. Now, this is a story written by Anton Pavlovich Chekhov, who was a Russian playwright and a short story writer. He is considered to be among the greatest writers of short fiction in history. Some consider Chekhov to be the founder of modern short story. He is known as a playwright, particularly for The Seagull, Uncle Vanya, Three Sisters, and The Cherry Orchard. Chekhov is also famous for the little trilogy comprising 3 short stories, The Man in a Case, Gooseberries, and About Love. Okay, so now the story, okay, A Day in the Country, I'll just give you a summary. Now, this is a story written by Chekhov, where he pays homage to an unsung hero, a homeless cobbler. Okay, story begins where we find a little girl just about say 6 years old. Okay, and her name is Fiokla, and she is running around asking everyone whether they had seen, okay, Terenti. Now, Terenti is a cobbler and she's running around to find, but nobody is willing to answer her. Finally, she finds Terenti in the garden, okay, and here she goes and asks him to come and help her save her brother, okay, Danilka, whose hand has got stuck in a tree, in a hole in a tree. Okay, so Terenti goes and pulls his arm out of the hole of the from the tree. Okay, now the only difference between Terenti and the others are that Terenti is willing to help everyone. Okay, and this is the same reason why the 2 children, okay, love him very much. Towards the end, towards night, the 2 children, okay, they are orphans and they retire to the barn. Okay, and Terenti goes to a tavern. At night, Terenti shows his love and affection for the children by coming to the barn and placing bread, okay, above their heads. And also, he makes a sign of a cross while they are asleep. Terenti tries to make the life of these children better than his own. Okay, so that's the summary of the story, A Day in the Country. Okay, now let's come to frame sentences. Now here we have got some words with which we are going to frame sentences. Okay, rumbling. Now, rumbling, now that's the sound that you hear when you have thunder. Okay, so rumbling, they heard a rumbling of thunder. Second one, refuge. Okay, to take shelter, that is. We took refuge in a cave and waited for the storm to pass. Third one, to and fro. Okay, the boat was rocking gently to and fro in the water. Huddled. Okay, everyone huddled around the fire to keep themselves warm, ready to drop. Okay, so by the end of the day, she was ready to drop. That is, you become so tired, okay, you can't walk even an inch. Okay, so ready to drop here. By the end of the day, she was ready to drop. Okay, so let's begin with the lesson. Between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning, a dark, leaden-colored mass is creeping over the sky towards the sun. Red zigzags of lightning gleam here and there across it. There's a sound of far-away rumbling. A warm wind frolics over the grass. bends the trees and stirs up the dust. In a minute, there will be a spurt of May rain and a real storm will begin. Okay, so it was around 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, and we find that dark, the clouds are slowly beginning to get dark. Okay, and red zigzags of lightning can be seen, gleaming across the sky. Okay, and they could also hear the rumbling sound of thunder. Okay, then warm wind, blows over the grass. It tries to bend the trees and also, moves up the dust. Okay, and in a few minutes there will be a rain. Okay, and a further a storm. Okay, Fucla, a little girl of 6, is running through the village looking for Terenti the cobbler. The barefoot child is pale, her eyes are wide open, her lips are trembling. Okay, so a little girl of 6, her name is Fucla, and she's running through the village, and she's looking around for Terenti. Now Terenti is a cobbler. Okay, and the child is child is very, very pale. Okay, and her eyes are wide open, her lips are trembling, that is, she's scared, she's very, very frightened. Okay, and she's looking around for Terenti. Uncle, where is Terenti? She asks everyone she meets. Okay, so here this girl calls everyone uncle. Okay, no one answers. They are all preoccupied with the approaching storm and take refuge in the huts. At last she meets Silente Silich, Terenti's bosom friend. Okay, so she asks everyone whether they have seen Terenti, but no one is answering because the storm is going to come. Okay, and everyone is scared. They are all going into the houses to take shelter. Finally, she meets Silente Silich, who was Terenti's close friend. Okay, uncle, where is Terenti? At the kitchen gardens, answers Silente. Okay, so she asks Silente where Terenti is, and he tells her that he is in the kitchen gardens. The girl runs behind the huts to the kitchen gardens and finds Terenti. Okay, so where does she find Terenti? He is behind the, okay, there's a kitchen garden behind the hut, and she finds him there. The tall old man with thin pockmarked face, very long legs and bare feet, dressed in a woman's tattered jacket, is standing near the vegetable plots, looking with drowsy eyes at the dark storm cloud. Okay, so he's a man, he's a very tall man, and there are pockmarks on his face. Okay, he has long legs. Okay, and he's dressed in a woman's tattered jacket, that is torn, okay, jacket, and he's standing near the vegetable plots, and he is looking above with drowsy eyes at the dark storm cloud. Uncle, darling. Okay, she calls Terenti. Terenti bends down to Fucla, and his grim face is overspread with a smile. Okay, so he looks at Fucla. Okay, with though his face was grim. Okay, suddenly it begins to smile. There's a smile on his face when he sees the little girl. Ah, Fucla, he says, lisping tinily, where have you come from? Okay, so he asks Fucla where she has come from. Okay, so now lisping, okay, tenderly, he asks her where she is coming from. Uncle Terenti, says Fucla, with a sob tugging at the lapel of the cobbler's coat. Brother Danilka has had an accident. Come along. So Fucla tells Terenti, okay, she is sobbing, okay, crying, and tugging at the coat, the cobbler's coat, and she tells Terenti that her brother Danilka has had an accident, and she wants Terenti to come and help him. What sort of an accident? Holy! What sort of an accident? So he's asking her what sort of an accident? Okay, it is. In the Count's copse, Danilka stuck his hand into a hole in a tree and he can't get it out. So there are a clump of bushes, okay, and Danilka has his hand in a hole in a tree. He's put his hand in a hole and he's not able to pull it out. Come along, uncle, do be kind and pull his hand out. So she requests Terenti to come and pull his hand out. How was it that he put his hand in? What for? Okay, so Terenti wants to know why he has put his hand into the hole of the tree, in a tree. He wanted to get a cuckoo's egg out of the hole for me. Okay, so Danilka wanted to take cuckoo's egg out of the hole for Fiokla, and that is how it got stuck. His hand got stuck in a hole in a tree. The day has hardly begun and already you are in trouble. So Terenti says, it's just as we saw, it was just about 8 or 9 in the morning and the day had just begun and the children are already playing mischief. They are already in trouble. Okay. Terenti shook his head and said, well, what am I to do with you? Now I must come. So he's no other go. Terenti, there's no other person who can help the children. Okay, so Terenti says, now what can I do? But I have to come and help you. So I should come with you. Terenti walks quickly without stopping or looking from side to side as though he were sure from behind or afraid of pursuit. Okay, so he started walking very, very quickly. He did not see here, there, okay, and it seemed as if someone was trying to push him from behind, okay, and Fiokla can hardly keep up with him. So she being a little girl, just about 6, she could hardly keep pace with him, and Terenti was walking very, very fast. They came out of the village and turned along the dusty road towards the Count's copse that lies dark blue in a distance. Okay, so they came out of the village and they're walking along the dusty road towards the Count's copse. Okay, and that lies, and this, where was it? It was a line dark, and you could see that it was dark blue in a distance. It is about 1.5 miles away. The clouds have by now covered the sun, and soon afterwards there's not a speck of blue left in the sky. It grows dark. Okay, so by now you could find that the dark clouds have covered the sun. There was not a speck, not even a speck of blue. Okay, not even a speck of blue clouds could be seen in the sky. The blue clouds have all turned dark, which means it was going to rain. Holy, whispers Fiokla, hurrying after Terenti. The first raindrop falls on Fiokla's cheek and glides like a tear down her chin. Okay, so within a few minutes, the first drop of rain falls on Fiokla's cheek. Okay, now let's come over to this comprehension passage. Okay, I've taken from, okay, Fiokla to, okay, so look at that. Now I've taken from here Fiokla to storm, okay, storm, cloud, okay, till here. Now let's come to the first question. Who is running through the village? Okay, so who's running through the village? Can you see here the answer? Fiokla, a little girl of 6, is running through the village. So what's your answer, children? Fiokla, who's running through the village? Fiocla, a little girl of 6, is running through the village. Whom is Fiocla looking for? Okay, so whom is she looking for? So look at this line here. Uncle, where is Charity? She asks everyone. So whom is she looking for? Okay. Fiocla is looking for Terenti the cobbler. Who told Fiocla where Terenti was? Okay. So who told her? Okay. So here is your answer. Uncle, where? Okay. So look at this. At last she meets Salenti Silich, Terenti's bosom friend. Okay. So, Uncle, where is Terenti? At the kitchen garden, answers Salenti. So, who told Fiocla? Who told Fiocla where Terenti is? Salenti Silich told Fiocla where Terenti was. Okay. So, who told Fiocla where Terenti was? So, Salenti Silich. Who's Salenti Silich? He was Terenti's very close friend. Okay. And he told her where Terenti was. What was Terenti doing in the kitchen garden? Okay. So, your answer is here. See. What was he doing? Okay. Look at this. The girl runs behind the hut store, kitchen gardens and finds Terenti. Okay. So what is he doing? He's standing near the vegetable plots, looking with drowsy eyes at the dark storm clouds. Okay. So what was Terenti doing in the kitchen garden? Terenti was standing near the vegetable plots in the kitchen garden, looking with drowsy eyes at the dark storm cloud. From the passage, find the antonym of. Okay, we have the word narrow. So in your passage, the antonym for narrow is wide. Far, the antonym for far from the passage is near. Her eyes are wide open. Add a question tag. So what do you do in a question tag? Okay, so your answer here is her eyes are wide open, aren't they? Remember to put the comma and the question mark. Okay, so her eyes are wide open, put a question, put a comma, and they, and put a question mark. Okay, so children, with this we have finished the first part of this lesson. We'll continue in the next session. Till then, children, thank you.